So now let's talk about the right way to set up systems. I'm just going to, for the sake of the video, just mention one of the right ways. There's so many ways you can set up your systems, but to set up the systems that work for you, right, you have to be considerate of the person using the system, right? Now, one of the ways to do this is to consider the brain wiring of the person. Now, what's the use of having a system and it's not being used, right? So when you're setting up a system, you should be considerate of the person that is the user or the end user of that system. So in setting up the right systems, we have to have neurodiversity in mind, right? So neurodiversity encompasses the range of the different ways on how people's brains are wired, right? How people tend to associate, how people tend to do things, it's all encompassing. So there are two sets of people based on how the brain is wired, right? So we have the neurotypical people and we have the neurodivergent people, right? Now, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not just going to go into it I'm not going to zoom into it. If you would want to know or like to know more about this, I would urge you to, read up on this and ask questions or ask doctors, about it, because it's really very important. It will help you in knowing how to relate with people, how to work with people, and all of that, right? Now, let's talk about the neurotypical people. So these are people that have the brain wiring of the typical mind, right? These are people that, according to society or culture, have a typical brain wiring, right? Now, the neurodivergent people are people that have, unique brain wiring, right? Unique and different brain wiring. So these are people with ADHD, these are people with autism, these are people with dyslexia, Down syndrome, and all of those, right? So it's going to be unfair or even unprofessional for you to, set up a system without considering the brain wiring of individuals, right? So for you to be able to set up a system that will work for them, you need to set up a system that will work for their brain type, right? So you need to get to know them more personally. You need to be able to build systems that are bespoke to them, right? Having said all of these things, we need to understand that if you're working with a neurodivergent person, you need to understand that, having visual concepts. Some of them are visual learners. Some people are auditory learners. So, for example, you need to be a bit flexible in how you set up the systems. So for some people, we